Welcome to Be the Sun, Not the Salt. I'm Dr. Harry Cohen, joined by my co-host, Connie Fontaine, our chief super spreader, and we're going to get into more of the chapters.
And I'm not a doctor, for sure. But what I love doing is exactly what we are doing, and that's super spreading these big ideas. These mini episodes have been, you see it, you hear it in our voice, we laugh, we talk about it. It's these delightful, nudgy reminders for us and for everyone to work at being our best self a little bit more every day. In chapter 8, Assume Positive Intent, has been if I have a game changer of all the 30 chapters, this has been my game changer chapter. I wish I would have known it. I guess we always know this stuff. I wish I would have understood the power of it in my work, my young work world, and not made assumptions about what people were doing and why they were doing it behind my back. And there was always something that was stirring up drama, and it didn't need to be. So let's talk about Assume Positive Intent, one of the more popular chapters.
I love what you said. It was stirring up drama and it didn't need to be. The it is us. Okay. This is the beauty of this material. It is always us. It comes back to us. This morning for this podcast, this recording, I was on at 9:00, and for 3 minutes I was assuming negative intent. How come Connie's late? How come? Oh, wait, I looked and I had the time wrong. And it was such a beautiful example. Why didn't I immediately cut you some slack? I would like to cut you the same slack I want you to cut me. I'm late plenty of times. And it was such a beautiful reminder. My point is that it's not knowing this, it's practicing this, it's doing this. I know this, Con, but it took me 180 seconds to get back to, oh, come on.
Well, and then we'll let you get to that one in this little foreshadowing for the chapter on pet peeves. That's Harry's number one pet peeve. Not him being late, but other people being late. So be careful.
Other people.
Yeah,
other people.
You pointed out, like when I said about drama, the drama was in within me. It was the ride home, thinking about all those things. They really meant this. They said whatever. And I think what I've used, I'm a much calmer driver. I have always been a Detroit driver. I probably still am really good at it. I just don't get mad at it anymore. I used to, get frustrated with people. It is now, I always assume there's something wrong. There's something wrong in their day, something wrong with a medical event. And it just completely changes the tone of my drive.
So that last point is the whole point. Please get the beauty of this. It changes your experience of life, not just of the drive, of everything. Like, oh my God, as soon as I shifted my own perspective about their intent, let me assume positive intent. They just made a mistake, or they don't know any better, or something else is going. It changes my experience of life in that moment, and it's available to me. I do have to practice it because I often assume negative intent, and that's not good. I'm not proud of that, but I'll quickly cop an attitude that they're a no good Nick in some form or fashion, and it's just plain wrong. I can do this for the rest of my life. Assume positive intent.
Do you want to cut them the same slack that you want them to cut you? That's
I do.
What you say in the book.
I do want to cut them the same slack. When I cut somebody off on the highway, I sometimes will raise my hand like, oops, sorry. Like they understand that this is, oops, sorry, I didn't see them there. And there, but for the grace of God go I. Anytime somebody behaves in a way, I'm like, oh, the practice is, I wonder what that's about.
Right. I wonder what that's about. And I think that's my favorite little tidbit we've talked about is be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot because if you let me say, I wonder what that's about instead of what an idiot, definitely changes the way you look at it. And I'm trying to come up with an example. I don't know if you have one where you really were glad you cut somebody some slack because you were wrong. They weren't doing something you thought they were doing. I'm trying to come up with one that I've experienced because it's almost like it smacks you in the face and says, well, thank God I didn't react negatively.
Well, man, they're almost always rewardingly good because the reward is in the immediate feeling that I have, which is, what am I getting all pissy about? Why am I doing that to myself?
Right.
And we have a judgy reflex. We have a judgmental side of ourselves, which is unpleasant.
Mhm.
It is pretty damn awful to live with this judgy mind
Mhm.
of ours.
Mhm.
I'm saying ours because I can hear it.
Mhm.
So I don't have to say it.
Yeah, I think about it in numerous instances as we've launched the podcast and as we're growing, we're getting this attention from people that have a lot of followers and people that we want to include on the podcast. And it's quick to assume sometimes, oh, they haven't responded. Oh, they must not love us. Oh, they don't want to. And I think we've found that that's not always the case. People are busy. People get caught up in life, and so I think those are some of the things. And it doesn't benefit you to just assume the worst and to take it personally.
It never benefits us to assume the
Mhm.
worst. So, again, the practice of this for me is to how can I assume some kind of good and operate from that place?
Mhm.
And my encouragement is to welcome everybody with their stories of how working with this isn't just, oh yeah, I know this. We all know it, but the working of it is the work. And in the
Right.
work in itself is the joy of,
Mhm.
ooh, I did it. I let the person merge in front of me. Let me try and articulate this. What value is it to not lose your cool in your car by yourself? Well, it doesn't affect anybody. Yes, it does. It affects you.
Mhm.
And again, neurons that fire together, wire together. The more you do that,
Mhm.
the more huffy and puffy you get, which is unpleasant to be around. So, if you can practice all by yourself, assuming positive intent, your life is better, and anybody who's around you's life is better, even if you're alone in the car.
Yeah, and if I mean, trust your gut. If something feels weird or unsafe, but we're not saying that. We're just saying just be curious about that person that just seems to be acting kind of like a jerk.
Mhm.
Well, how about text me later? Let me know where you assumed positive intent. Well, actually, you already did. You knew I wasn't really late. You knew I was
Oh
just
no, this morning I did it this morning with you.
yeah, that's
Literally
true.
took me, but I'm disappointed in tongue in cheek. It took me 180 seconds. How
Yep.
come I couldn't do it in 10?
Well, that's their mind, but that's what we talk about all the time. We practice this every day. We talk about it. It's our work. It's what we do, and yet we still practice and work at it every day.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, hopefully this
okay.
nudges you, somebody today that's listening, to assume positive intent. Hopefully it helps maybe change your drive, change your day, the way you walk in the door at the end of the day. Let us know if this was something that inspired you. Please pass it along to others to inspire and follow us so that you get notified every time we drop a new episode. Thanks for listening.